if it's not happening for us, we're not talking God into doing anything. So what do I really believe about this, and what belief do I need to change to allow this to happen for me?
Oh, wait a minute. You're putting the responsibility on me, Jerry?
I know, right? That was such a shock. You know, when
I'm totally shocked.
When we first found this teaching, I'm like, oh boy, I'm responsible for my life, followed immediately by, holy crap. You mean I'm responsible for my life? Yes.
Hello and welcome to the New Thought Men's podcast, where we're building healthy masculinity in the world. Great to have you with us. I'm Eamon, and today's guest is Reverend Dr. Jerry Troyer. Jerry Troyer and his late husband founded New Thought in 1992, and he served as a senior minister of the New Thought Center for Creative Living in San Diego from 2007 to 2016. Jerry currently serves as the board president of the Affiliated New Thought Network, ANTN. It's a membership organization of Unity, New Thought, CSL, and Divine Science centers, as well as individual. ANTN.org. And he is also an author of the acclaimed book, Coming Out to Ourselves, Admitting, Accepting, and Embracing Who We Truly Are. Jerry, so great to have you with us today.
Great to be with you, Eamon. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We met last year at the ANTN conference, so it was great. It was my first one, so I was kind of in awe and just really enjoyed the experience. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later on here. What I really want to get going on with you is the amazing talk that you just gave for the summit. And you had talked about change, really, kind of that felt like the change, especially life changes. I really appreciated that it's hard. No matter if it's good or if it's challenging, it's hard, right? Good.
Yes.
It's a good change, like you mentioned, like, oh, get a new job. You have to leave your old job and maybe the people that you enjoyed spending time with. I love what you said. I think this was a quote, "I'm safe and it's only change."
That's Louise Hay.
Louise Hay, yeah, beautiful. Yeah. How wonderful. That's definitely a Louise Hay quote.
Right.
But we often don't like it. We have resistance to change, and there's that pushback. And you mentioned how our brain interprets it. I love that, the amygdala, which interprets change as fear. So it puts us in a fearful state so that we're in this heightened awareness so that we can protect ourselves. Well, in a time when there was a saber-toothed tiger, I can understand change might not be the good idea because you're going to be a meal. But these days, we don't really have that as much. We more have these subtler changes that happen in our lives. So we're not running for our lives, ideally, but we have these things in our lives that change. And one could even say change is the constant through life. Can you share with us a little bit more just about change and about your experience with change?
Well,
big question.
Right. So looking at my life, you would not know that I would even be talking about change because I've lived in San Diego for all my life, except for 2 years in the Northeast. My parents were married for 65 years. They lived in the house that we grew up in for 55 years in North San Diego County. I worked in the same job for 23 years until I was lovingly released which sounds way better than laid off, but I was laid off. I was in the same primary relationship with my husband for 33 years until he passed away. So I have avoided change like the plague. But of course, even if we try to, there are things around us that are changing, whether we want to admit it or not. And sometimes they need to change, even though we're not willing to recognize that and recognize that I'm safe. I can go for the better job. I can speak my truth in the relationship. I can find the new relationship and know that I'm divinely guided because it's only change.
Yeah, to get that through our thick skulls, huh? I'm safe. It's only change.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Your life sounds very much like mine. I grew up in Golden here in Colorado, and I've lived here my whole life, and I love that consistency. I love Colorado, of course, but I love that consistency in my life to a certain extent, and everything that I've let go of, Jerry, really has claw marks on it, whether it's good or bad.
Yes,
like,
right.
No, don't leave.
Right. Yes.
And so it's I really viscerally get the experience of change as we're going through that. And I love that you brought in this book, The 5 Invitations. I'm going to have you say Frank's last name.
Frank Ostaseski.
Ostaseski. Okay. Awesome. And his book, you talked about the 5 steps, or the five invitations, I think it was. Do you want to just walk us through that and what that looks like a little bit real quick?
Sure. So the subtitle is Discovering What Death Can Teach Us About Living Fully. A little bit of history about this, and I talked about this in my talk, about my unwillingness to recognize that it was okay for me to feel the grief and the loss and the pain and the anger and the whatever else, the fear, after my husband died. Mm-hmm. And so I created a workshop, and it was okay, but then I was led to this book that is just so, the 5 points I feel like are so wonderful in dealing with life in general, and most especially looking at the changes in our lives. Because even though we hold on for dear life, even though we've got the claw marks on whatever it was, life is going to change. And whether it's our physical abilities to do what physical activity that we maybe couldn't do before as we get older, or the 3 or 4 new gray hairs, or a relationship or a job or just whatever, this is what happens because this is what happens. So rather than holding on for dear life and covering up our grief and our fear and all the rest of that, we can allow ourselves to feel the feelings so we can move forward. So this book just really resonated for me, and I thought it was a great foundation. And I do a whole workshop around these five invitations, or these 5 points.
It's powerful. I think, let me just walk us through them real quick. Don't wait. Welcome everything. Number 3, bring your whole self.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Bring your whole self to the experience, right? To the
experience, yeah. 4, find a place to rest. That's a good one. Number 5, cultivate, don't know, mind.
And that's almost my favorite, because in New Thought, sometimes I have a little bit of, I feel like I have a little bit of spiritual arrogance, because we do affirmative prayer. So by God, no pun intended. So this is what I want. I do my treatment work, my affirmative prayer. I say, and so it is. Well, yeah, maybe. But the bigger picture is, maybe it doesn't come, and this is a whole nother talk, but maybe it doesn't come by UPS. Maybe it comes by FedEx or DHL or Postal Service, but we know the essence of what it is we're accepting is going to happen for us unless we have attachment that it's got to come UPS.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the old story of the guy. There's been a flood and he's on his roof and he's praying for rescue, and the guy in a rowboat comes along. And he says, "No, thanks, I'm waiting for God to save me." And then a helicopter comes in. He says, "No, thanks, I'm waiting for God to save me." And then something else happens and he drowns and goes to heaven. And he says, "God, you were going to save me." And God's like, "Well, I tried 3 different times. What's the deal?"
Yeah.
So can we be comfortable in this I don't know as a result of this change, but I know I'm safe. Again, I'm safe. It's only change.
Yeah. Our society wants it UPS and Amazon like the next day.
Right.
Like,
or even yet tonight. Can I get it in 2 hours, please? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's good to practice that delayed gratitude, or the delayed to delay that sense of urgency, like I have to have it now. That gives us more of a sense of space. Like, I guess I really don't need it right now, do I? And to be patient with the process. And we're certainly, our society is being pushed in that direction of, no, you can get it right here, right now, instant gratification kind of stuff. So yeah, I appreciate that.
But also in the remembering that if it's not happening for us, we're not talking God into doing anything. So what do I really believe about this? And what belief do I need to change to allow this to happen for me?
Oh, wait a minute. You're putting the responsibility on me, Jerry?
I know, right? That was such a shock.
I'm totally shocked.
When we first found this teaching, I'm like, oh boy, I'm responsible for my life, followed immediately by, holy crap. You mean I'm responsible for my life? Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those beautiful things of like, I'm responsible for my life. Yes, of course. I want my dreams and hopes and all that. Yes. Oh, but wait a minute. I'm also responsible for my finances and my relationships and the things I didn't do so good in. Oh man.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, those are just really beautiful steps and beautiful affirmations. I really love that. Thank you for bringing that in. I think just when you were talking about, the death of your husband, for me, I just lost my dad like 2.5 years ago. So it was an interesting process because I had never lost anyone real close to me like that. I mean, people that I knew, of course. But when my dad passed, it was, even though he was 86, he had lived a good life. It wasn't a huge surprise, but at the same time, it was a surprise. And I even got to go down there and be with him in the hospital, like the last 5 days that he was alive, and be there when he passed. And most of our family was, and it was a really beautiful, amazing experience for me anyhow. And to be with him during that time, and to just let him know I was there and love him and support him. But what I realized, and I didn't realize this until almost like a year later, because my folks lived in Arizona. So we did a service in Arizona. We got my mom moved, had to sell the house, all the stuff that comes with someone passing. Like, you got to make decisions, and you're just like, what just happened? And then they're asking you to make decisions. And it wasn't until really we brought his ashes home to Colorado, and at their church that, they were a part of for most of their lives, I got to say his eulogy. And then once that process was done, once I was kind of over all the stuff that had to happen, then I finally allowed myself to go, oh shit, yeah, my dad just died.
Yes.
And It still gets me a little bit.
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
But I was so caught up in the doing, and maybe it was a part of it was avoiding and
Sure.
helping my family and doing all the, the dutiful son kind of stuff, or dutiful, daughter, as the case may be, for people, when we want to step up for our family and we want to really support our family. But it also required me to kind of take my emotions and, and push them down, as we as men have been trained to do,
Right.
for our whole lives, in many different ways, through society, through practice, through, all the different ways in which we do that. And, to be able to finally come to a place of, this is what I'm missing him. I'm sad. I'm, really addressing all the issues that were coming up. And I'm a pretty feeling kind of person. So like, I don't maybe have as much repression on my emotion as some guys may have. And it was interesting, though, that it really almost took me a year to get to the grief after my dad died.
Yes.
And I think we were just talking, beforehand, and it was like, grief just shows up in so many different ways. It's so many different timings in so many different aspects of our lives. And I think what I got from you is to really honor that, and to really, it's okay if we're repressing. At some point, it's going to come out. We are whole human beings.
It will.
Guys,
it will. Yes.
We're emotional.
Yep.
And to honor that. But I just really appreciated you speaking to that. Can you talk a little bit more maybe about that, or just some other wisdom that you have to share around that grieving process? Because I know you've done a lot of work around it.
Absolutely. And like you mentioned, so we were taught, many of us were big boys don't cry, be the man, be that manly man, and all the rest of that crap, to use a purely spiritual term. But it shows up in surprising and wonderful ways. And you may not be standing in the checkout line in the grocery store sobbing your guts out, but you may be doing some behaviors that aren't in your best interest. But I was just going to drink half that bottle of red wine, and all of a sudden it's gone. Or I was just going to have 2 pieces of pizza, and all of a sudden it's gone. Or I was saving that money, and we picked on Amazon earlier. I was saving that money for a vacation, and I've got the Amazon app, and I'm either in a really good mood or I'm feeling really down and I want to treat myself. And the nice people from Amazon the next day show up with all of those wonderful things that we said we couldn't live without.
All the goodies. Yep.
And so off, or we're on the way to work in a mood and with grief and anger that we haven't looked at yet, and somebody pulls out in front of us, or they're on the 70 and we're at Interstate 70 in Denver and we're in a hurry, and they're in the left-hand lane on their cell phone, and we just absolutely explode. Yeah. So these emotions that we don't allow ourselves to address don't go away. They show up in surprising and wonderful ways. So, I think I quoted Course in Miracles in my talk. I could see peace instead of this. So this is the best gift that we can give ourselves, to allow ourselves to look at it, to feel it, to go through the process so that we can move forward, keeping in mind that grief has no shelf life. So it's 7 years for me, and I have an amazing new relationship, and life is wonderful. But every once in a while, there's just a little sadness. There's just a little feeling of loss. And I think I'll have that for the rest of my life. I think all of us who parents have died or partners have died or some change like that, will have that for the rest of our lives. And that's just one of the things about love, is we remember the really good parts, and that's okay. Yeah. But if we've addressed it, we can look at it and feel it for a few minutes and move on rather than getting stuck in it.
Yeah, and I loved how you suggested like doing some journaling, reflecting, noticing your triggers. I really like that you brought HALT in.
HALT, yes.
Am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? HALT. And I mentioned that my family is we are hangry. So if we get upset and we haven't eaten, it's a disaster. So we have bars and fruit juice and all that stuff. Because we mostly know better. Sometimes it still comes up, but we mostly know better as a family. And we're like, here, have some fruit juice.
Yes, right.
Yeah, because really, like you said, the emotions want to be expressed. They're in us. And so we can either express them in unconscious ways. We can drive onto the freeway and be like, and get our upset or our anger or disappointment or whatever it is out. Or we can actually do something to heal it within ourselves, which is the true place of empowerment, which is the true place of change for it. It's not going to help yelling at the other person for going too slow or too fast or whatever on the highway. It's just a waste of your energy. And I'm saying this mostly for myself, so I can but to be able to really dig into those emotions and especially for us men who haven't been taught to dig into the emotions. We're like, oh yeah, can I drink the rest of that wine? Can I have that pizza? What can I do to avoid it? Hey, Eamon here. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Being a man these days is tough. We feel pressure from relationships, our friends, other men, from society, and even from ourselves. It can be lonely and we can feel isolated. I know I have. 15% of men in America have reported having no close friends, and 73% have 5 or fewer friends. How many other men do you talk with regularly about the most important things in your life? Well, we have a free video and a PDF on how to create deeper conversations and friendships with the men in your life. Click the link in the description below. Also, please rate and review this podcast or like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. It helps us reach more people with uplifting content like this. Thank you. Appreciate it. Now back to the podcast. Yeah. But when we go into that moment, when we go into that emotion, when we really honor it, then that allows for the healing to happen. I think is what I've seen in my own life.
Yeah. And I mentioned this in the talk, without the toxic positivity and the spiritual bypass that so often we hear in this teaching, it's everything's in divine order. It's all good. Don't worry, be happy. All of they're in a better place. All of those other things that are absolutely true, but it throws water on my feelings and how important it is for us to recognize all those things as the truth, but also the fact that this is what I'm feeling. My feelings are valid and I can work my way through them.
Yeah, my mentor Norm Bouchard, who was at the CSL in Colorado Springs, he passed a month before my dad did.
Oh, right.
And he always told me, and I'd known Norm for 20 years, a wonderful man, and he had told me this kind of towards then, because he was working with some cancer and had been for a while. And he's like, man, I don't care about all that fluffy stuff. I don't care about all the positive. If you can't be with me in pain, when I'm in pain on the floor, puking my guts out or shitting myself, or, I mean, he was a very straightforward guy, if you didn't know, but he's like, then none of this stuff matters. Like, if you can't be real and authentic with people in those moments of challenge that they're having, and to try and just bypass it away, or positive over the top of it. The emotions want to be honored. They really do.
Yep.
Almost like the inner voices that we have. They just want to be honored. The inner child just wants to be loved, right? The critic just wants to be heard. All of that stuff, on the internal level, just wants to be honored for us, I think. Like, hey, this is what's going on. Are you able to acknowledge that? And until we do, I think we run into a lot of problems. But when we finally can and go, yes, okay, I am sad. I am grieving.
Yes.
I'm depressed. Yes. I am struggling. Then I think something in us goes, okay, this is real now. I'm seen, like almost, okay, you get what I'm trying to share with you emotionally. Okay, thank you. Talking to myself. Yes. And that really is the blessing, because that brings us to the place of healing, place of honoring it and blessing it and healing it.
And I absolutely believe that for the future of New Thought will be as we meet people where they are. So we don't beat them up with a Science of Mind textbook. We don't beat them up with airy-fairy language. We meet people in their pain, in their fear, in their loss. We meet them where they are.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Love it. Well, it's just the honest, real way, the authentic way to show up for people, right? I mean, it's great. Yes. It's great when we have those positive people in our lives. Oh yes, I need to hear something positive today. Thanks for the love. I love you. I bless you. All of that great stuff that our community and our philosophy espouses. But at the same time, if we can't be real, then we're missing the point, I think, on some level.
Yes, absolutely. Because I am charming and sparkling and patient and wonderful and delightful and hateful and surly and judgmental and complaining.
Yeah.
And guess what? So are you. And so is everybody watching this. Because that's us. Remember Rumi, the Sufi mystic poet Rumi, and his writing about the guest house. About all of that, about all of the wonderful positive things and about all of the wonderful negative things. And that's just who we are.
Yeah. Beautiful, Jerry. We could talk about men and emotions for a very long time. But I really do. I would like to talk, just because I'm feeling so grateful for finding ANTN, the Affiliated New Thought Network, and you're the president of that.
I am.
I found it last year at the retreat that you guys did, and I want to talk more about that. I'm so excited, because what it feels like is New Thought is this place where all of it can come together, in a kind of a melting pot sort of way, like Ernest Holmes and the Science of Mind philosophy and CSL. That's kind of in there. They've got their thing, and rightfully so. They're trying to promote and honor the gifts that he brought, that Ernest brought to us, which are amazing and incredible. But then also we've got Unity that has the Fillmores, and they're trying to make sure that history and that their teaching stays, honorable or gets out there as well. And so I think, and the others, have their own things, but I think in New Thought, all of those philosophies sort of come together, and we're able to maybe let go of some of the tribalism, like I'm a part of this or I'm a part of that, and bring us all together as community. That's at least what I see as the potential for it. Can you just speak a little bit to New Thought for us?
So, and
they're this huge thing. Sorry, that was not a good setup.
No, not at all. And I love to talk about this because it's so goofy, because it's New Thought. It's brand new. Oh boy. No, it's not. It's the essence of what Jesus talked about in the New Testament. It's done unto you as you believe. Greater than these things will you do. The other quotes that our foundation is based on, it's the Tao Te Ching, it's all of these ancient teachings that we've bundled together. And one of the things that I love about this organization is we're Centers for Spiritual Living, we're independent religious science, we're unity, we're divine science, we're Universal Foundation for Better Living. You know, Johnny Coleman started that organization. Yeah. All of these organizations and beliefs and people, and you get them in the same room and you start talking about what you believe. Well, I believe that. Well, I believe that. And what we find out is that we basically have very few, if any, differences, and just an amazing number of similarities. And so we do a retreat every year at Unity Village. Next one is October 6th to the 10th.
I'll be speaking at that, by the way.
Yes, outstanding. To come together as the family reunion. It is just the greatest experience to come together. So I was going to talk about, so back to New Thought though. So often people think of that New Thought must be New Age, and it's not. Mm-hmm. People think that religious science must be Christian Science or Scientology, but it's not. Yeah. So my elevator pitch is, if you're familiar with the Bible, again, Jesus said, it's done unto you as you believe. As we look at the areas of our lives that aren't working, I want more money. I want a better relationship. I want better health. As we change our beliefs, our lives change, because life is lived from the inside out. So as we change our thinking, we change our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, that's the experience probably that most of us have had who've been in it for a while, ministers, practitioners, other people, because we see it in our lives. We see that change that has happened in my life. And that's why I'm so great. I'm just grateful that I found this in my 20s, and I found men's work in my 20s. And those are the two things that have just shaped my life. Jerry, I can't even imagine who I'd be today without those teachings.
No, I can't either. Absolutely. Yeah. Just, I can't imagine that there would be no way of ever going back, because it's part of our, it's in the marrow of our bones. It's who we are. It's what we believe. It's what we talk about. It's what we think about. It's just part of us. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, great stuff. So ANTN.org, you can go there and check out the affiliated New Thought Network and kind of what they're about. And it's an amazing organization. We are members, the New Thought Men's community, are members of ANTN. And like I said, I got to go last year and be a part of that to enjoy the retreat, and it was a blast. It was just such a great time. So it is that feeling of, oh, I'm with my people. Yeah. It just takes all that pressure out. Not that there is pressure, but it takes all the expectation, all the stuff. I'm like, oh, I can just be myself. I'm safe. I'm with the people that I trust, and you
don't need any alphabet soup before your name or after your name, because we're centers, churches, ministers, practitioners, licensed unity teachers, and individuals. So you, as a person in or a student of New Thought, you are welcome to attend a retreat. We do many things throughout the month that are free. We do a Thought Leader Thursday event with a luminary in the community. We do a lot of other things that are free to everyone. You did that. That's right.
And Michelle and I did a workshop. Michelle Whittington, she's going to be another speaker on this, on the summit and podcast. But we did a wonderful workshop on the masculine and feminine, balancing the masculine and feminine. Right. Super fun. Yeah. So, ANTN does a lot of great stuff Yeah, so go check it out if you're interested. Thanks. I love ANTN. I feel like it is that glue that's helping bring all of us as community in this metaphysical, mystical teaching together. So yeah, I thank you for your service and being the president and
truly my
that.
honor.
Yeah.
My honor.
I know you're also really affiliated with another organization, which I want to talk about, and is another one of my passions, the Urban Street Angels. Can you share just a little bit about kind of what are their programs and why they do what they do?
So Urban Street Angels, we've been around for 13 years, and I'm a founding board member, so I've been around since the very beginning, and we provide temporary housing, employment referrals, trade school programs, life skills training, and hope, most important, to homeless 18 to 24-year-olds in San Diego. We have 3 locations, 70 youth in downtown San Diego, about 75 in East County, and starting on Monday, we will have 16 youth in a new facility in North San Diego County. So these are 18 to 24-year-olds who have aged out of foster care and had no place to go, were in an abusive situation at home and needed to leave, wound up couch surfing on a friend's house, and that just didn't work, or for whatever reason there was no home for them to stay in, and wound up on the streets or close to being on the streets.
Wow, Jerry. I just get tingles. My heart goes out. Like I always had a stable environment growing up, and just going out at 18 into the world is a shock, much less not having all that support and so many different ways and everything. The one thing that really drew my attention was the trade school. And I went to trade school. I went to Warren Tech Center in Jefferson County, Colorado. Nice. And when I was 16 and 17, and we built a house a year. And so I got trained on how to be a carpenter in a very, for my neurodiversity, my little dyslexic neurodiversity, it's like put a hammer in my hand and have me go build something. Oh my gosh, yes. And I just loved it. And it became a 30+ year career of mine. Awesome. I remodeled houses, painted houses. I worked in Antarctica as a carpenter. I did so much with that. I owned 3 different businesses in the construction field. And it just really, without that, like Science of Mind, without New Thought, I can't imagine what my life would be like. So I just really want to give thanks for that program, and especially for the trade part of it, because it just allows men and women to get training and then to go out into a very practical field that can really serve them for the rest of their lives and really provide for them, as it did for me. And I couldn't be more grateful. Anything else you want to share on the Urban Street Angels? Because I think that just sounds like an amazing program, Jerry.
Thank you. It really is. And just really quickly, so our trade school program is funded in part by the San Diego Padres Foundation, our ball club.
All right.
And so last year, 45 of our youth graduated as EMTs and CNAs and cosmetologists and welders and FAA drone pilots. And so the what it means to me is these young people, we go to them and here's the programs, and they say, you mean that I could study to be and you get to fill in the blank, and we say, yes, you can. And when you complete the program successfully, you are guaranteed a full-time job. And so that helps them get out of our temporary housing and into their own apartment and move into that next chapter in our lives. So we're just so grateful for that program.
Yeah, set them up for success.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds awesome, Jerry. That sounds great. Is there anything else you want to share before we go on to our final question of the day?
Website. So anybody that would like more information, Urban Street Angels is urbanstreetangels.org. ANTN, as you mentioned, is ANTN.org. And I will just say really quickly that Urban Street Angels is absolutely, no question about it, a manifestation of this teaching, because we started without, I get emotional every time I talk about this. We started 13 years ago not having two dimes to rub together. It was an outreach of a Disciples of Christ church in the North Park area of San Diego. How are we going to make payroll? What are we going to do? Who's going to donate paper plates? And in 2024, our budget was $5.4 million.
Wow.
And
awesome.
we just, when we state our intention, we don't have to, preaching to the choir, we don't have to worry about how it's going to happen. We just know somehow, some way, and the universe says, yes, of course. Let me help you with that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Jerry. Oh, warms my heart, brother.
Yeah.
Okay, so final question is this. Just speaking to, getting back to kind of our subject a little bit, or our topic, which was divine masculinity. What does, for you anyhow, in your mind, what does divine masculinity look like in the 21st century?
To me, it is recognizing the truth of our being, that we are the beloved, recognizing that we are one with and expressing as that creative process, that in our masculinity, we are free to also to draw on the feminine side and live from that wisdom and that integrity, and speak our truth, to feel what we feel, to recognize that all of that is part of the truth of our being. And more getting away from the you should do that or you shouldn't do that, because as the essence, expression, and experience of spirit, we know our truth, and we allow ourselves to live that truth.
Yeah. We've started calling that the whole man, or the whole person.
Yes.
That we get to be this whole person. We get to have emotions, we get to have thoughts, we get to have the body sensations and body experience and the soul experience. And to think that, to try and fit ourselves into some mold or some, archetype or some, narrow perception of what a man looks like or what a woman looks like, just seems almost silly these days. Like, on some level, it's like, are we really back in the 1950s? What's going on here? Like, we are these whole human beings. We have emotions, as much as we, even the guys who are like, I'm an A-type, personality guy, nothing affects me, I'm la la la. And those are the guys who have a really hard time. Those are the guys who wind up, unfortunately, committing suicide. Because they don't know how to deal with their whole self. And anytime I bring the subject up, we want to acknowledge, there are 125 people that commit suicide every day. 100 of those are men. And then we have 10 to 20 times that who attempt suicide every day. So 1,000 to 2,000 people a day that attempt suicide, and 4 out of every 5 are men. So it's an incredibly high suicide rate for men right now, especially. And I think a lot of that is from that shoving down of emotions, and that at some point it comes out. At some point we struggle with it. At some point we either get healing around it and we get support around it, or we don't. And I think creating that safe space, like you said, I'm safe, and it's only change. And the more that we can provide those safe environments for men to go, yeah, I am a whole being. You're right. I am feeling a certain way. Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead and explore that, without pressure, without expectation, just to be like, hey, how can we support you, brother?
Yes.
Like, that's what we really do here. We
Yeah.
we love to be able to be present and create safe space and create sacred space and hold all the high vision and do all the, new thought kind of things, but also the very men's work stuff too, being authentic and just being real and just being present to what is, and not needing to do anything with it, not needing to take it somewhere or do something with it. Now, that's always an option to do something with it, but I think the pressure and expectation, especially for men who are just starting to, process their emotions on a new level, it's so helpful with a group of, especially of men who know kind of what it's like to suppress emotions, what it's like to have to put the mask on and to go out there and trudge around in the world and then come home and take the mask off and, have the tears or have whatever we have. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you. I think being the whole man, I see that too, as our future of just being whole individuals, men, women, everyone just being themselves. What a concept, right?
Right. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, Jerry, I just want to thank you so much for the life of service and nurturing people. I really see that in you, and I'm just so grateful. So grateful for you being on with us today, the podcast.
Thank you so much, Eamon. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah, so much appreciation for you. So I guess that's it for today. Thanks for joining us. There's more to come, so stay tuned in.